My name is, I will not tell the name. I am from New York City, USA. I am 24 years old. I have recently married my wife, who was born here, and she is very Americanized. She is also a Muslim, but not a very practicing one. I always suggest her to wear hijab and follow other Islamic laws, but she does not listen. Is there any sin on me because I am not able to convince her, no matter how much Quranic verses I present to her? There is a Muslim brother of ours who's from New York, USA, and asked the question that he has recently married an American Muslim who's Americanized, and she's not a very practicing Muslim. She does not wear hijab. He tries to convince her to do the Islamic activity. She does not do. What should he do? Is he sinning if he's not able to convince her? Point number one, brother, that you should have thought of all these things before marrying her. Our beloved Prophet ﷺ said that when you are looking for a life partner, a person looks for four things. One is beauty, second is wealth, third is nobility, and the fourth is virtue, deen. And the most important amongst all these four is the deen. So before marrying, you should have thought of this. Now you have already married and now you're asking me. Because if you want to have a pious life, you should see to it that you have a pious and a practicing life partner. You cannot have a non-practicing life partner and then expect your life to be Islamic. It's difficult. If you want your children to be Islamic, you have to see to it that your life partner is also Islamic. Imagine you may be praying 5 times, but your wife doesn't pray 5 times. She may be not praying at all, or maybe praying once a day. How will your children pray 5 times a day? Very difficult. So I do blame you that you should have done the research before marrying. Now that you have already married her, what should you do? She's not wearing hijab, she's not practicing. Depending upon what farz she's not doing, if the sin she's doing is minor, then maybe you can tell her to stop it and maybe you can give her time. But if she's doing major sins, like for example, she's not offering salah at all, that's a very major sin. There's no excuse for that. If she's not offering at all, it's very bad. Or maybe she's offering only once a day, or maybe twice a day. So these things are very detrimental. You have to put your foot down. You have to tell her that she should start praying 5 times a day. If she prays a few times a day and misses, then maybe you can give her more leverage, yet keep on coaxing her. But if she doesn't pray at all, then you have to give an ultimatum. There are some scholars who say that a Muslim who doesn't pray at all is outside the fold of Islam. They are very strict scholars. The other scholars who say if they don't pray, but they agree to pray as fard, then they are not outside the fold of Islam, but they are practicing Muslims. Now, depending upon what major sins your wife is doing, or what other faraiz she is not doing, based on that you take the decision. If she is doing major sins and if she is not offering salah at all, these are things which you have to tell her, give her an ultimatum. If she is doing minor sins, then you can yet coax her, but it can be forgiven. You can give time. You don't have to be given ultimatum. So unless you don't know what are the major sins, or what are the sins she is doing, or what practice of Islam she is not doing, then only can I tell you whether you can continue or not. But yes, you are responsible. Before marrying, you should have checked. Now you have to do dawah. See to it that you encourage her to see talks of authentic scholars, of authentic orators. What act she is not doing, see to it you give talks on that particular act. Give talks on hijab. You can see my talk on women's rights in Islam. I've spoken on hijab and given the various reasons. There are various talks. There is salah, programming towards righteousness. Based on the act she is not doing, see to it that you encourage her to read books on that. Read scholars, inshallah, pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that may a wife come to the straight path.